What you're about to watch is probably, for me, one of the wildest 48 hours ever spent in Japan. And it starts in a city that most people know called Osaka. But the amount of information, heritage, lore, and incredible people that I met during this 48-hour trip after coming off of Ebisu is probably one of the core memories I will tell my kids when I eventually have them.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Nice to see you.
That we brought the special cars for you.
Internet friends are the best. You never really know what to expect, if you're gonna keep all of your kidneys or if you're gonna end up in a dark room somewhere a couple days later. And JC was no exception, to be fair. I'd never met the person before. But once I did, I realized that he was just a French dictionary of knowledge in Japanese car culture. And he invited Bekah and I to the Work Wheels, the one and only, located in Osaka. This is a brand that was founded in 1977, and after starting Martini Works, I told myself I would never push a brand that I didn't believe in. And work, I believe in that shit. Like, I believe in everything that I do, including my PKing skills. So we're going to check it out together to see if it's something different. When I arrived, I was expecting to maybe check out a warehouse or maybe just like a conference room. I wasn't really expecting there to be like 20 people waiting for me and people that came just to show off their cars. This is where I met Muramoto and also where I met Hiroki. Now, Hiroki has that K drift truck and Muramoto has the R35, both of which on Work Wheels and both of which came because JC asked if they could show their vehicle to me since I was exploring the Japanese culture.
So this is Hiroki's K truck that apparently is also a drift K truck. What's your favorite part of the build?
Cockpit. He loves the cockpit, he loves the inside.
The cockpit?
Yeah. Gotta go now.
No significant other, no passenger seat, no girlfriend, no.
Yes.
Where do they sit? What do you think about Americans importing in so many Japanese cars? Do we like it? Do we not like it?
寂しい反面、でもやっぱり日本の車が認められてるっていうところはすごく嬉しいかなっていう。
Yeah.
It's a mix between like a little bit sad because seeing all those cars leaving the country.
Yep.
And of course he's happy because they like the Japanese car culture. That's why they're bringing the cars over there. So he's happy because of that.
Sure.
But yeah, that's true. One thing is like the numbers of cars, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was a wild experience to meet all the people inside of Work Wheels, but the craziest person that I met there was not JC. It was Chika-San. I didn't know that I was gonna end up meeting the president of Work Wheels Japan, especially considering that that is the daughter of the founder of the company. And turns out, she's actually an absolute riot.
こんにちは、ワークの田中です。今日はようこそいらっしゃいました。Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
So that's Works with President Chika-Tanaka-san.
Yes.
She said, welcome to work. The company is almost like 50 years old now, getting close to that.
Wow.
They're happy to make wheels for the world to enjoy.
What are you most looking forward to with Work Wheels? New wheels, more racing, more JCs.
モアジーシはないね。
The core spirit of work is multi-piece. That's the strong, the strength of the brand, you know. So she wants to really keep that in the company's philosophy, spirit. And she also wants to be able to reach all the different aspects of car life, I would say. Like from SUV to dress up, to sporty wheels, to race wheels, you know. Trying to be able to offer products for everybody, kind of, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is one dream you want to achieve, either with work wheels or with cars or in your life?
難しいね。
Yeah?
そうね、違って。
She says like she's only a human, so she's gonna disappear someday, you know. But she wants to make sure that after she's gone, the brand exists, still thrive.
Yep.
And she's also part of the NAPAC Industries, a group of manufacturers that promotes aftermarket parts, if you will.
Okay.
And the aftermarket culture in general, and she wants that as well to live on for years. You know, after she's gone, after they're all gone, that's something they're building. They're heading toward. You know.
And that's something that your father passed on to you.
Yeah,
as well?
exactly. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Sure. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank
ありがとうございました。Enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
And during the tour, I met so many other awesome people. I met Koji, who is just a wealth of knowledge on work wheels. I actually found his Facebook profile, and he had some of the wildest hair I've ever seen before in my entire life. If you think Tokyo Drift hairstyles were crazy back in the day, you have nothing on Koji, okay? And then on top of that, I got to hold the original Work Equipo 1. Okay, now I'm a wheel nerd, so most people don't care. But to see the old Work Equipo 1, to see the wheels that they had supported with the new GTR that ended up coming back into the scene, and on the very first year that Work came back, that GTR, without a factory-backed wheel company, won the series. That exploded their popularity. There's the wheels in the showroom of that exact setup that they took to the championship. I mean, when I think of Work, a lot of times I think of show wheels, but during the trip and travel and seeing the cars that were there, plus seeing all the motorsport heritage that they had exclusively in Japan that they tell no one about, there's so much more. Now, the wheels are cool, but really meeting the people are what's super special to me. I've always found that the best people that you can ever make friends with are those that are just authentically good people. And that could not be closer to the truth than meeting Hiroki and then also meeting Muramoto-san. He's the one that helped me do a dream that I've always wanted to do since I was able to go to Japan and I didn't understand where anything was, and that was to visit Rocket Bunny. Now, the first time I ever went to Japan, the train rides, simple, easy, nothing confusing. I had my little JR pass and I could go anywhere. I could do anything I want. I was like Spider-Man out there stopping trains whenever I wanted to. However, I had realized that that trip was very condensed and this trip was getting a little wild, which meant we had to jump trains like 4 or 5 times, and it was honestly very confusing. And I gave myself a little bit of anxiety because it kept getting hotter and hotter the longer I was waiting. Turns out we went on the wrong train a couple times, but that's besides the point, because eventually we got to Muramoto-san's actual HQ where he had a group of cars that I thought was super wild, including this Accord Honda Civic type thing. He had an FDRX7. There was a Honda S2000 hiding in the background, and of course there was the car that we were going to rent today, you and me, which was that R35 GTR.
Okay, bye.
Muramoto is an incredibly awesome human being. He's very helpful. He tries his best in communication, and translation is always something that's kind of scary, especially when you're making new friends in Japan. And I'm going to be honest with you, I just had to bully my way through the conversation in terms of like figuring out who was saying what and what they meant, because there was a point in this conversation as I was actually sitting in the R35 where I tried to tell them or ask them, what do I do if I have to go through a pole? And unfortunately, I got translated to what color is like the red light? Like how do I, which light tells me to stop the car?
I feel like they're just as nervous as I am.
I think so too. Well, you did ask a lot of questions. They thought you didn't know what a red light was.
I think they did think I didn't know what a red light was. I promise I do.
And I freaked the entire team out. I freaked all of them out because they looked at me like maybe I shouldn't be driving a 600 horsepower car. I should be riding a bicycle. And then I had to reconfigure Google Translate to help us understand, do I have to pay tolls when I go on the highway? It was an awesome experience, and getting to drive around with Bekah in a car, right-hand drive, GTR, in Osaka was like, it was just cool. There's nothing else about it. There's no depth to it. It just felt rad, and I loved that. But what it allowed me to do was again go to a shop that I had read about through Speed Hunters, God, 10 years ago. TRA Kyoto, 6666, Rocket Bunny, Miura-san, the whole thing. I was so excited. I just didn't know what to expect. Driving a JDM car, especially an R35 through JDM rental to TRA Kyoto was a dream. Figuring out how to actually go into the shop or understand how any of these contraptions of buildings that kind of felt like an episode of Saw was not, I would argue, awesome, because we didn't know where to go. Like, the entry to the shop just is a door. You open it and there's cat food on the floor and there's the buzzing of just this yellow light that's continuously running. You have a sound of a machine in the background that seems to be cutting up some sort of styrofoam or some sort of composite material. And then every once in a while, you hear a creak or a groan, the sound that there is somebody somewhere in one of these buildings, but getting there is like kind of sort of figuring out a page of Where's Waldo. We finally got to meet up with one of the staff members who would turn out to be one of the nicest people I'd ever met, probably in my entire life. And his name was Tanaka. And he was, by far, probably one of my favorite people I could have ever met. He was smiling, he was laughing, he spoke Japanese and English, and he was willing to give us a little bit of a tour of the shop.
And this is Miura's office. And
well, this is where he designed?
yeah, he designed everything, his collections.
Always here.
Yeah.
Equipo 1?
Yeah, you
Equipo
know.
1? Oh, 3?
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Miura designed the Hayashi wheels.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Was he part of Hayashi Racing?
Hayashi Racing.
He was.
Hayashi's chairman.
Yes.
His friend. And he talked to Miura, please design our wheels.
Ah, so Hayashi
Yeah.
came Miura?
Yes.
Hayashi came to Miura to design wheels. Okay. How long has Rocket Bunny?
About 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And more.
Hayashi Racing is.
And he designed the NK wheels.
NK wheels.
The Sun NK wheels.
Yeah.
He designed.
But here's a little pro tip for you if you ever plan on going. These are places that don't necessarily have a huge showroom. It's not like a Liberty Walk style experience. Everything in every space, in every corner, is just used, and you have to be okay with maybe just asking if it's okay for you to check things out. Ideally, you'd want to send them a message beforehand, and ideally, you'd want to bring them a gift. Unfortunately for me, I didn't know either of those two things when I arrived. Now, after meeting Tanaka, or we would call him Wookie, we also met Ukita, who was essentially like the little brother, the second arm to Miura on everything that had to do with Rocket Bunny. And hearing his story about Miura-san and the upbringing of Pandem and Rocket Bunny and all that sort of stuff was actually really cool.
Did you guys grow up here in Osaka? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in Kyoto.
In Kyoto.
Yeah.
Kyoto. And were you part of the Bosozoku or no?
Yeah. When I was young, there are lots of Bosozoku.
Lots of Bosozoku.
But I don't like Bosozoku. No.
Back then. Okay.
Yes. I like more street side.
Street side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like clubbing, DJing.
Oh, clubbing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But Miura likes Bosozoku style.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
What's the name of this? What is this?
We call Captain.
Captain.
Yes.
Captain.
Miura has 2 daughters and 1 son.
Okay.
And one of his daughter, she was young. She draws this.
So he kept it as a logo.
Yeah.
That is
And
so
she,
special.
Japanese captain is Sencho.
Okay.
And
Sencho.
she said, this is Sencho. So Miura redesign and use our trademarks.
That is so special.
Yeah.
I love that. Is such a cool history behind that. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, nice Japanese.
And after we spent the whole day there and also probably spent too much money buying hats that we would never wear because we were just excited, it was time to head back. And we got to jump into the GTR again and drive around in Osaka traffic, which at around 6 o'clock is probably the worst thing you could do. It's like akin to New York City traffic, and I hated every moment of it, but it was in a cool car, so it got a little bit better. The only problem is they always teach you when you're a kid to never get in the car with strangers, right? Well, don't listen to that. Do it, because if you're in Japan, you might just find yourself in a position. What you're gonna get to go do is go to the underground PA culture. Now, I should preface it by saying don't get in a car with real strangers. Get in a car with strangers that you know from the internet. The risk is slightly lower. But this is John, and John actually met us at JDM Rental when we dropped off the R35 so that we could go on our very next adventure. I just didn't really know what it was gonna look like. Turns out, John and JC, well, they knew each other. Now, after dinner, after we got to try every deep fried food there actually is, which kind of seems counterintuitive to the concept of healthy food in Japan, we got to actually go to an Osaka underground PA. Now, I'm hyping this up a little bit, and I should preface it by saying it's not the biggest meet or anything like that, but it was a meet where essentially John and myself, we just put a post on the internet and we asked if anybody wanted to come by and check out our cars. It was a 24-hour notice. I expected 3 people to show up and one of them to not even know what the hell was going on. But turns out we actually had a pretty good turnout. And these were some of my favorite cars. There's something insanely special about being in a place where you get to see cars that are so out of bounds as to what you're used to, and yet you get to meet the people at the same time who are typically just as humble and just as excited to share their car, just in a different language. And to be able to experience that with people that came out to either check out the cars or to meet me internationally was the most humbling experience of my entire life. I had never expected anything like that to happen. For the very first car for me to see being a Chevy Corvette, being a meet that was for some random American, was probably the most like almost ironic thing that could possibly happen. And it was a blast. Every second of it was incredibly enjoyable. I met so many friends, both that lived in Japan, but also were also visiting Osaka at the same time, come out to say hi, and that feeling was awesome. That's one of the craziest things about Japan travels. As you get to get more invested in it in terms of the car scene, you start to realize that everybody is just trying to make friends in a way that seems more authentic than ever before. It feels special, and PAs just feel different. They feel a little bit unknown, a little bit more unique. The fact that there's food and vending machines and just a ton of space, and it seems like there's less of a chance of somebody doing something dumb, I think just makes it feel super special. Even though it's wild, it's kind of like an organized chaos. And to be able to spend a couple days in Osaka with JC and John, and to meet Muramoto-san, and to go to Work Wheels was probably a core memory I never thought I would be able to get. And just like that, we're gonna be on to the next adventure, where we're heading to Tokyo to hang out with Gran Turismo and Polyphony Studios, and to meet Masa again, and to go to the Daikoku meets, and to go to a bunch of day shopping that is 100% gonna burn 150% of my budget, but that's gonna be coming up in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your questions or comments on any Japan travel, especially if you're a car person, in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.